Hey there, ever notice how, like, a certain haircut can look amazing on one guy, but kind of just meh on another? So today we're going to do a deep dive into men's haircuts. And trust me, there's actually way more to it than you might think. Like, it turns out the secret weapon isn't some fancy product or styling technique, it's all about head shape. We've got a whole stack of research and notes here ready to go. So let's decode this together.
Yeah, you got it. So a good barber doesn't just like copy taste the latest trends they see. They're like architects. They study the foundation before they build anything on top of it. And in this case, the foundation is the head.
Okay, so you're saying it's not just about finding a picture on Instagram and being like, I want that. There's like an actual science behind it.
Absolutely. Head shape is about proportions and angles and even things like hair growth patterns. A skilled barber can use that knowledge to create these optical illusions, like making a round face look longer or softening the angles of a square jawline.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So walk me through it. What are the main head shapes barbers look for?
Well, we got 7 primary ones: round, rectangular, square, triangular, oval, diamond, and heart-shaped. And each one presents its own unique challenges and opportunities when it comes to crafting a style.
Okay, all right, let's break them down one by one then. Starting with, how about the round head shape? I feel like that's a pretty common one.
Yeah, good pick. So with a round head shape, the width and length are pretty much equal, and the jawline tends to be smooth and curved. So the goal here is to add height and visually stretch the face. Think like the pompadour that Elvis made famous, or a classic side part.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely see how those styles would draw the eye upwards. But what's the thinking behind that? Is it just about aesthetics or is there more to it?
It's about balance. You see, a round face can sometimes lack vertical definition. So by adding volume on top, you create a sense of elongation, bringing the overall shape closer to the ideal oval.
Interesting. So it's like you're sculpting the hair to kind of like change the proportions of the face?
Exactly. Now let's move on to the rectangular or oblong face shape. This one is longer than it is wide. So the challenge is to add width and soften the appearance of length. Think styles that add fullness on the sides, like a textured fringe or layered cuts.
Hmm. So for someone with a rectangular face, you wouldn't want to go for a super short buzz cut then, something that emphasizes the length.
Right, you want to avoid anything that accentuates the vertical lines of the face. Layering and texture can help break up the length and create the illusion of a more balanced shape.
This is making so much sense. Okay, what's next?
Let's talk about the square face shape. This one's known for its strong, angular jawline and equal width and length. So the goal here is to soften those angles and create a slightly more rounded appearance.
So are we talking about styles that are literally round in shape, or is it more about softening the edges?
It's more about blending the lines. Think fade, side sweeps, or falsoed layers. These techniques help to blur the sharp angles of the jawline and add a touch of softness.
Ah, so you're not hiding the square shape completely, you're working with it.
Precisely. Now, this next one presents a unique challenge: the triangular face shape, characterized by a narrower forehead and a wider jawline. The goal is to add volume up top to balance out those proportions.
Okay, so with the triangular face shape, you'd want to stay away from styles that are really tight to the head and emphasize the narrowness at the top.
Exactly. You want to create the illusion of width at the temples, and that's where voluminous styles with longer layers come in.
Gotcha. This is seriously making me rethink my whole hair routine. Okay, so what other head shapes are left?
Now we come to the oval face shape, often considered the most versatile. Balanced proportions and a gently rounded jawline, which means most hairstyles tend to work well. It's a great opportunity to experiment with different looks.
Ah, the lucky ones. They can pretty much rock any style they want.
To a certain extent, yes. But even with an oval face shape, a skilled barber will consider individual features, hair texture, and personal style preferences to create a truly personalized look.
That makes sense. It's not just one size fits all, even for the ideal head shape. All right, what else?
Let's talk about the diamond face shape. This one's characterized by a narrow forehead and jawline, but with wider cheekbones. So the goal here is to balance things out, adding volume at the forehead and jaw, while minimizing width at the cheekbones.
Okay, so you'd want styles that soften those angles and create fullness around the face, rather than emphasizing the cheekbones.
Exactly. Think about side-swept styles, natural waves, or even longer hairstyles that frame the face.
This is reminding me of how much thought goes into a good haircut. Okay, we've got one more head shape to cover, right? The heart-shaped face.
Right. Wider forehead and a narrower chin. The goal is to balance that out, adding volume at the chin, minimizing the width at the forehead.
I'm sensing a theme here. It's all about creating balance and harmony. So what styles work best for that shape?
Medium-length cuts and fringe styles are great options for a heart-shaped face. By adding volume around the chin, you create a more balanced appearance. And it's also important to avoid styles that emphasize the width of the forehead.
This is all making sense now, but how does a barber actually figure out someone's head shape in the first place? Are they just like eyeballing it, or is there a method to the madness?
Well, it's a combination of observation, analysis, and communication. A skilled barber will study the client's facial pretensions, take note of the width of the forehead, the cheekbones, and jawline, as well as the overall length of the face.
So they're like mapping out the landscape of the head.
Exactly. And they'll pay close attention to the jawline. Is it rounded, angular, or pointed? They'll check for facial symmetry, noting any slight variations between the left and right sides. But, the most important part is actually talking to the client.
Oh, so it's not just about like dictating what looks good.
Absolutely not. A good barber will consider the client's preferences, their lifestyle, and their hair texture to ensure the cut not only looks good, but is also manageable for them on a daily basis. It's a collaboration.
Wow, this is blowing my mind. I never realized how much thought and expertise goes into a good haircut. So we've covered all the head shapes, the theory behind it all. But why is it so important for barbers to actually understand all this? What's the big deal?
I gotta say, from my perspective, as someone who always felt a little lost in the barber's chair, this knowledge is kind of empowering. It's like I have a secret decoder ring for haircuts now. I love that analogy. And you're right, it is empowering. For barbers, understanding head shapes is about more than just creating aesthetically pleasing cuts. It's about boosting confidence, building trust, and fostering a sense of well-being in their clients.
So it's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good too. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. There's nothing worse than leaving the barber and feeling like you got some stranger's hair on your head.
Exactly. When a haircut complements someone's face, it can have like a really profound impact on their self-esteem. They walk a little taller, smile a little wider, projects a sense of confidence.
Yeah, it's like when you find that perfect outfit, you feel put together and stylish and just ready to take on the world. But it's not just about the clients, right? This knowledge must also benefit the barbers themselves.
Absolutely. From a professional standpoint, understanding head shapes elevates a barber's skill set and their reputation. It shows they're not just following trends, but taking a thoughtful, personalized approach to their craft.
So it's like the difference between a mass-produced piece of clothing and a bespoke suit that's tailored to your exact measurements.
Perfect analogy. When clients see that their barber takes the time to understand their individual needs and create a style that truly flatters them, they're more likely to become loyal customers and recommend their services to others.
Yeah, word of mouth is huge, especially in a field like barbering where trust and personal connection are so important. But beyond the client-barber relationship, are there any other benefits to understanding head shapes?
Oh, absolutely. For one, it allows barbers to move beyond those limitations of, cookie-cutter styles and embrace a more creative approach to their craft.
So they're not just replicating the same haircut over and over again. They can actually use this knowledge to design something unique for each client.
Exactly. It opens up a whole world of possibilities for personalization and innovation. A barber who understands the head shapes can tailor a classic style to an individual's features, creating a look that's both stylish and uniquely suited to them.
I'm sold. This knowledge is clearly valuable for both barbers and their clients. But let's get practical for a second. What can our listeners actually do with this information besides, impress their barber with their newfound head shape vocabulary?
Well, for starters, you can now analyze your own head shape and those of people around you. Pay attention to the proportions, the angles, the jawline. It's like a fun little game.
Oh, I'm already doing it. My commute just got a whole lot more interesting. But how about when it comes to actually getting a haircut? What's the best way to use this knowledge?
The next time you visit your barber, instead of just showing them a picture, try explaining what you want to achieve. Mention the specific features you'd like to emphasize or downplay. Like you could say, I'd like a style that adds height to my face. Or, I want to soften the angles of my jawline.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like giving the barber a roadmap instead of just the destination. They can use their expertise to guide you towards the best style based on your head shape and what you want to achieve.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to ask questions. A good barber will be happy to explain their thought process and help you understand why certain styles work better for certain head shapes.
I feel like I'm finally taking control of my hair destiny here instead of just hoping for the best. But beyond my own personal hair journey, this knowledge also kind of allows me to appreciate the artistry and the skill behind a great haircut.
Absolutely. When you understand the principles of head shapes and how they influence style choices, you start to see haircuts in a whole new light. You notice the subtle nuances, the attention to detail, the way a skilled barber can transform someone's appearance with just a few snips of the scissors.
It's like unlocking a secret level of understanding. I'm not just looking at hair, I'm seeing art.
Exactly. And that is the beauty of knowledge. It expands our perspectives, it deepens our appreciation, and it opens our minds to new possibilities.
I love that. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? Is it just about head shapes, or is there a deeper message here?
Well, I think the real takeaway is the importance of personalization and understanding individual needs. whether it's haircuts, fashion, or even our interactions with other people. Taking the time to see people as individuals with their own unique characteristics can lead to greater connection, more empathy, and ultimately a more fulfilling experience for everyone involved.
Man, that's a powerful message. So it's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good, connecting with others, and appreciating the artistry and the individuality that makes us all unique. I'm feeling so inspired right now. Who knew we could learn so much from something as simple as a haircut?
Right. It's amazing what we can learn when we take a deeper look into things we often take for granted. There's a whole world of knowledge and artistry hidden in plain sight.
Okay, so before we wrap up this deep dive, let's do a quick recap of everything we've learned today.
Sounds good. So we started by debunking the myth that any hairstyle can look good on anyone. We learned that head shape is the foundation of a great haircut, and that there are 7 primary head shapes that barbers consider: round, rectangular, square, triangular, oval, diamond, and heart-shaped. Each one has its own unique characteristics that can be accentuated or minimized with the right haircut.
Right, and we also learned about how those haircuts actually work their magic. Like, it's not just about following trends, it's about understanding proportions and angles and even hair growth patterns to create these optical illusions that flatter the face.
Exactly. And we also explored the process of actually determining head shape, which involves analyzing proportions, observing the jawline, checking for symmetry, and most importantly, communicating with the clients to understand their preferences and lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think the most important takeaway for me was understanding head shapes isn't just for barbers, it's for anyone who wants to make more informed choices about their hair or communicate effectively with their stylist and just appreciate the artistry behind a great haircut.
Absolutely. It's about taking control of your hair destiny and feeling confident and comfortable in your own skin. And on a deeper level, it's about recognizing the importance of personalization and celebrating the unique beauty in each of us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like I'm walking away with a whole new perspective on haircuts and maybe even life itself.
That's great to hear. Remember, knowledge is power. The more we understand the world around us, the more empowered we become to navigate it with confidence.
So, as a final thought for our listeners out there, I challenge you to take a closer look at your own head shape. Think about what styles might complement your features best. And the next time you're in the barber's chair, don't be afraid to have a conversation about your goals and preferences. You might be surprised at what a difference it makes.
And if you're feeling adventurous, try something new. Step outside your comfort zone, experiment with different styles. Find one that makes you feel confident, authentic, and ready to take on the world.
Love it. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of head shapes and haircuts. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so connect with us on social media and let us know what you think. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those haircuts looking sharp.